the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. A proverb we've all heard 1,000 times to attribute our own successes to that of our parents, or more so, our parents' DNA. Which is a slippery slope fallacy, because obviously to inherit is not the same as to develop, and to develop is to identify need, and to identify need is supply and demand, so a staple of our local economy and an impact to our society, Michigan apples are more than just a reaction. So much so it almost seems like destiny. In 2026, Michigan is expected to be the #1 producer of apples in America, beating out both New York and Washington alike. As a Washingtonian, I'm incredibly disappointed to find this out, but supply chain issues and tariffs persist. And Michigan Agricultural Studies shows us a pattern persisting with 900 million pounds produced in each harvest. If we exclude 2021, that becomes 1,000 million pounds produced each harvest, attributed to 850 family farms. And if we're going to talk about family farms, we have to talk about orchards. And if we talk about orchards, we have to talk about the man who created them. Nurseryman himself, John Chapman, a.k.a. Johnny Appleseed, carried seeds in his pockets from the Pacific Northwest all the way to the east, great with Native American relations, often creating ghost orchards in his wake, and those ghost orchards started to pop up near crabapple trees, showing us historically that Native Americans had adopted this into their culture as well. Without natives, 71% of our economy would be kaput. And that means in 2023, $436.2 million in apples alone, which I attribute to natives, would be gone. And if we're going to talk about the importance of money and apples, we then have to talk about legislation. When did it become so important to us? And that is in 1897, when Michigan attributes the apple blossom as its state flower. In 1904, Arkansas does the same thing, which is very rude, but at least we were more specific because we chose the sweet crab apple. Once again, a lovely thank you to our natives. And if we're going to talk about legislation at all, then we have to talk about the Baldwin Act, which is the Baldwin Apple Act, which gave tax breaks for people who produced apples and for people who bought apples. They claimed that this was a matter of public, as apples were clearly public domain. And then in 1935, the federal Supreme Court overruled this and claimed it was price fixing. So the Michigan apple industry no longer has its tax breaks, but it is a poor man's politics, which is to say it's a game of assumptions. Things like small farms can't thrive, or apples are a matter of public opinion, and I can take you to the MichiganLegislation.org to prove you how wrong you are. Well, not only do local farms see themselves as more personable, but they also see it as family itself. They have a business strategy, which is to be there, be consistent, and be unprotected. Apples symbolize a lot of things in our society through literature and the like, which is education, knowledge, temptation. Ironically, apples are available through year-round supermarkets, yet the harvest is only from late July, thank you Michigan, all the way to late November. Kind of ironic when you think about it that way. Thanks for listening.